Ahoy!
Ahoy!
You came on and then you disappeared. And then
Well, yeah, it was
came
like
back on.
Well, it was. I had it pulled up. Right, I always try to pull it up 10 minutes or so ahead, and so it was just sitting there hanging out, and all of a sudden it goes, not responding, and I was like, what? It was open. It was working. I had everything open already, and then it was like, no. I was like, what the?
No, it's like, no, I just don't want to respond today.
Yeah, it was like, nope, I don't. What if I did it open though? And I was like, what? But it was. But it was open.
Everything's fine.
It was already open. That's the part that's ridiculous. Like, whatever. So it's back. Hi, how's it going?
It's well. Like it. Oh, well, good. Glad to have you back. It's fun.
Yes. So it should be good now. Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll play nice.
See.
We'll see.
Okay.
So how are you? How's it been?
Man, I'm I don't know if I'm fully recovered from last weekend. Still. It's it's summertime, and with summertime, this is when people wake up on Friday and then say things like, I don't want to be here anymore. And so they book a trip. And then they call me or they text me and they say, hey, I'm leaving today. And, and so our weeks, it's this weird, it looks like a dumbbell of, where like the middle is very thin and then the either end is just crammed full.
Yeah.
I cannot add anymore.
Yeah, I see that. But man, sometimes get angry when you say things like this because I'm like, bro, I want to just be like, yeah, I'm out. Let's go. Not at you, at your clients that are just like, who are these people that are just like, yeah, I'm going on a trip now. Bye. Like, what is this? How does this work?
Yeah. And these people, I know it's not like they're going, oh, I'm driving to Kansas City. No. They're like, I think I just really need to be in North Carolina or whatever, it's that kind of trip. And
it's not like a little bit away.
No, it's a ways away.
A fur piece,
yes,
right?
As one might say. As one might say,
right?
No, it's like this requires hotels. And even if it was the driving, like you're driving. Like, how are you? What? How do you?
Yeah.
So
I bet some of them are flying, right?
Oh no, a lot of them are flying. That's the other part that gets me.
Who's just flying randomly places. Like, what is going on here? What is happening? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Not me.
So,
that's who.
So it means that like we get no bookings on Monday, no bookings on Tuesday, no bookings on Wednesday.
So you're like, oh, it'll be a nice slow week. Oh my gosh, I have 7 people booked today.
Everything would be seriously. I had 8 people booked today.
Oh my gosh, I was trying to think of a number that was too high.
No,
which is why I picked 7.
No, now it is across both service areas, but like our service area where we live, they are the worst. Literally, the worst. The worst. I don't know how we attracted so many last minute Louis clients here, but we have them. And today I had this past Monday.
Louis.
This past Monday. It's Meg and I talk about our clients a lot.
I like it. That's good.
This Monday we had nobody for this weekend in the service area. And we had nobody on Tuesday, and we had nobody yesterday, and today we have 3, and tomorrow we'll probably have more.
What in the world?
So it's like, nah. And here's the thing: like it's that time of year, and we have these kind of clients. We have the kind of clients who are is the weather nice to take the motorcycles out for a ride kind of clients. We have what's the weather like for golf kind of clients. And so these activities are very last minute. They don't want to book something and then have the weather be crummy. So
that's fair.
It makes sense. We have those clients in here too. In addition to the ones who just they're like, I'm leaving for a week. I'm like, where? What? Why?
Yeah, that's the one that gets me. Like, I can understand. Like, oh, hey, we're gonna run down to, like if it's you, like, oh, we're gonna go to Kansas City for the day, or like down here, a lot of people are like, oh, we're gonna, it'd be fun. Let's go to Eureka Springs, or like, something like that, right? Like, it's not like super far, but like, it's far enough that you can like make a whole day out of the thing,
just a way to get out.
Yeah, not like I'm going to Oregon. Like, what?
Or no, we decided we're going to go to Florida. Like, when?
Yeah. How?
You decide. I too am traveling, but I did that 5 months ago and decided when I was going. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I've had to plan my trip for like 2 years. Like, that's what.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So it's another world, right? It's another world.
Bro, what is?
Yeah, it's another tax bracket is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, not one that I'm in.
Not one I'm in either.
Yeah,
it's just that's like we have this client.
So sponsors, if you're listening, we're gonna.
If you would like to help us make other people's lives miserable by not planning,
and to help you, obviously at the same time, clearly help us help you. Right, that's what it's all about. Yeah, obviously.
We have a client who is in like is above that tax bracket. They're kind of client who have their own personal assistant for some reason. Like,
oh, bro, that's crazy,
right? Like, I don't know. Like when they book services, the personal assistant is the one who contacted us and set up everything and took care of all of this stuff. And
what?
Yes, I didn't. The client didn't fill out any of the information until like the personal assistant set up all that stuff. So because the client said, "Hey, I need somebody to walk my dog," and the personal assistant said, "I'm on it," right, and just took care of it.
Yeah.
Of course, this person, they're not their only home is not in town, obviously.
Oh yeah, clearly, like it's.
But like they are one of the worst of like. Well, I've decided I'm going to be spending the next month or two in Mexico at my other, house. But it's like I told Megan, I said, I can't even get in that mindset of like, let me prepare my second house for my arrival. And let me like, how do you what like like what is how do you set those wheels in motion? Like, who do you call to start stocking up your other estate? Right? Like, I don't even know. Like,
I definitely don't know.
It's wild.
I haven't got that Italian villa yet, so I have no idea.
See,
like,
but this is what I'm talking about. Like, I think could be. We're so close. I mean,
that's true. It's on the cusp. Actually, it's not, but it could be.
I still look. There's still some pretty good ones.
There are a lot of really good ones.
Yeah,
but like that's like
yeah, and a little bit of elbow grease.
Yeah,
and then you too.
I have 2 elbows.
And probably equal amounts of grease.
Yeah, it's true.
Did we go through this? Did we look at how much it costs to fly over there? Did we do that?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah,
we'd have to stay over there for a while and make it worth it.
I mean, I can probably handle that. It's fine.
A giant fly just buzzed by me. Where did you come from? What is this?
Well, yeah, it's the season for bugs to infiltrate your house.
Oh my!
Just like randomly, even as somebody like me who doesn't really go outside. Like, my point of ingress and egress is the garage, right? So it's like double whammy. Like, I don't open the back door. Like, who does that? But there's still just like randomly, there's just like all these flies in here. Like, how? Where did you come from? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. Like, they're just the sneakiest little things. Like, here's another spider. Why? What is?
I know. We have started to we have, I don't know what this, okay, this may say a lot about us. We have a jumping spider in our kitchen that is, he's safe because he's really good at catching flies.
Well, yeah, that's, I do allow those spiders in. It's the spindly looking ones. I'm like, all right, bro, nope.
Yeah, the creepy ones. They're not useful. They're just there to creep you out.
Well, I mean, they're probably useful, but they're also the ones that are like going to harm me if they bite me. So I'm like, nope. You look reclusive. Yeah. Where's the sandal? Like, give me that chunkla. Whap. That's what it's time for. That's what it's time for now. You get out of here, bro. No.
I don't care for your fiddle. Get out.
Yeah. You get away from me. I don't need that in my life. So, yes, that's the. But yeah, it's just annoying. Like, they're so sneaky. It's almost like they're insects and small and can get into tiny places that I don't know exist. Wait a minute.
I know.
Wait a minute.
I had reason to be in my attic recently, and I remembered why I never go in my attic. A, it's very hot, and B, I just started thinking about those things of how many organisms are living up here right now. I need to
get exactly. I mean, like the garage. If I see a bug in the garage, you're cool. You're good. You can hang out. Like spiders in the garage help to create a barrier, right? For all the bugs that are trying to enter the house through the garage. You got to make it through all the spiders, right? So, boom, you stay there, spider, and do spidery stuff. And like... keep them, the blockade them from coming in here, but then the spiders come inside. Like, no, there's more bugs out there. I promise. They're not in here. They're outside. So you gotta go, buddy. You gotta get out there and find them. Like that's
right. No, here are, speaking of fish in the ocean. Here's the bugs in the world. Is this away?
It's not in here. Right. Yes. I'm trying to keep them under control in here. You can, if you want to be pest control, this is not the place for you to be. You need to find a new.
I've got that kind of under wraps right now. It's a little awkward for there to be two of us doing this.
Yeah, right. I got this. You're the outer security layer, right? That's your bag. You're outer security, not interior security. So you gotta go find your spot and take care of it out there. So it's fun.
It's a mutualistic relationship here.
I mean, I'm trying to make it that way. They're not into that. Right. Trying to be symbiotic here, but they're not really
kind of overstepping their bounds.
Yeah, they really are. It's a problem. So like, I don't know.
Oh, well, maybe if you just talk to them more, that may
maybe
help.
I'll try. I'll try. See if I can find a charlette or something, right? To like really catch the vibes properly. I don't know.
Oh, wow, there was a lot in that phrase.
So we're all about layers here, right? That's what we're all about on this show.
Yep.
Really strange references and layered context. That's what it's all about.
Layers.
Yeah.
Man. So beside the bugs and the bookings, it's been this week has been very weird. The kids have been in summer camp of sorts. So it's nice. Weird having them out of the house. And then
true.
Also still being crazy busy. Like that's the other part. But yeah, it's been pretty standard. We're wrapping up the baseball games. We got 2 more.
Oh, nice.
Boy, howdy. The son there, he is it's getting tired. It's getting tired, especially after like this past week. It was our first. We had one. Yeah. Well, like last week, he had 3 games. Then we went through the weekend. And he came in and he had a long day at camp, and he went to play the game. And I could definitely tell.
Like,
he was pretty zombified out there, just like hulking around like, oh no. And so afterwards, had to applaud him. I was like, bud, you showed up. Your team needed you. You were here. Great job. Like, I know you would rather have been in bed, but like 2 hours ago.
It's true. Beautiful summertime. I mean, at least a lot of summer ball leagues say things like, I don't know why, but they're like, it's a great time for a game in the summer. 2:00. Like, no, that is incorrect. What are you doing?
That is fair.
This is the wrong answer.
We are not out here.
At least it is of an evening, that's nice. That's good.
Yes. Yeah. I bring also this week a review to you.
Oh,
I have
a review to me.
A review to you.
How exciting.
You may recall we had an incident. We had reason for need of a tent pole replacement.
Yes.
And so this disappeared from my mind because I couldn't be bothered to remember this. And it wasn't ordered through Amazon, and so I had no idea where anything was.
Yeah.
Being perfectly honest. But my ordering process, now I'm of course speaking with Tentpole Technologies. It's a wonderful website. And here's what happened. I actually went to Eureka and was like, hey, I need a replacement pole because this one broke. And they were like, oh, hey, buddy, we're not in business anymore. Eureka as a brand isn't even a thing. Sorry. So, but these people will hand make you a tent pole, right? And I was like, oh boy. But the Eureka representative was fantastic. He gave me all the specifications and basically the verbiage. He said, copy and paste this to them and they'll make it for you. And I was like, great. Right. I called them to verify a few things. He talked me out of the aluminum poles. I was like, good call. Thank you. Thank you. I placed the order and then completely forgot about this. And it showed up on Wednesday, which was yesterday. And I will say, like, what a fantastic service. Tentpole Technologies.
Oh, good. There you
go. 5 stars across the board. Wonderfully packaged, nicely bound, and just excellent tent poles. Especially if you compare it to the standard ones that this thing came with, which is a bit frustrating because you're like, well, it's the main manufacturer. Surely, like, they're in the tent business. Surely they'd want good tent poles. No, right? Somebody's going to cheap out on something. But if your only job, the only thing you make are tent poles, right? Like, you're going to want these to be the best darn tent poles out there. Like that's the only thing that they want, because that's the only thing speaking to their name is.
That's true. If they're a singular industry, that would be kind of important, right?
Mm-hmm. And it was, I mean, talk about seamless. Like, I copied and pasted the verbiage, and I could have figured it out anyway. I would give them the make and model, and they just want the total length from tip to tip of an assembled pole and the material. Pretty easy.
Okay,
right?
Fair.
So they can spec it out and look at all this stuff. And immediately could tell the fiberglass much better, even lighter than the fiberglass from the main manufacturer there. I don't know why I'm trying to obscure the name of Eureka. It's R.I.P. I guess.
Yeah,
we don't speak ill of the dead.
I am a little bit confused that you were able to talk to a Eureka representative if there is no Eureka. So, like, that's interesting. Like, are they just like attached to another company that's just like?
Here's what happened. Johnson Outdoors.
Johnson
Outdoors bought Eureka. They also own Jetboil, Old Canoe, Hummingbird, Minn Kota, Canon, and Scuba Pro.
Oh,
okay.
I don't like this. Where's my Teddy Roosevelt stick? We got to break up this monopoly.
They have a website. It's called eurekacamping.johnsonoutdoors.com/US. This
terribly inefficient URL.
It is horrible. However, if you search for things like Eureka Help or Help Eureka, this is what comes up.
Okay, that's good.
And I filled this out, and look, this was announced back on October 19th of 2023. We are no longer going to be here. They closed down October of last year. Done. Nothing. No more. I was like, surely nobody is watching this intake form. Nobody, right? Why would anybody be watching this intake form? But no, you filled this out, and a very nice man replies and says, hey, I can't help you, but like directly, but here's this information. I was too shocked because I was like, if this doesn't go through, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I have to be honest, Tentpole Technologies, their website, not the most confidence-inducing website in the world that I've seen before. It's pretty like,
again, single-use industry, like sometimes web design.
Yeah.
Not it.
No.
Right.
No. So
it's like a Chinese restaurant situation, right? Where you're like, that restaurant looks kind of dingy. Yeah. But you want to go in there.
You want.
Right? You're like walking by, you're like, oh man. Like, is that the cleanest restaurant I've ever seen in my life? No.
No.
Does that mean I want their egg rolls? Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what that means. Have you seen that meme that's like, I just realized I'm X years old and I've never seen a commercial for a Chinese restaurant.
Oh, right? Yes. Why would it be necessary for one?
True. Anyway, sorry, derailed.
No.
Back to
you're fine.
Tentpole Technologies.
Tentpole Technologies. You put it together, and the one thing, this is how I knew that these were my kind of people. First off, I knew that they were my kind of people because they talked me out of upgrading to aluminum poles on the phone. I was like, okay, if you understood. But the fiberglass, you can cut it straight. Like, you come in the pole and then you can just cut it straight through with a saw and kind of like clean up the edges a little bit. This is what came from Eureka. It's not very well finished.
Okay.
They like chamfer the edge of the pole after it's been cut. Like, it's this nice uniform sanding thing that kind of just tapers it just at the minuscule amount. But it gets rid of all the rough edges of the fiberglass.
Probably makes it stronger, so there's not like cracks in it from the cutting.
Yes.
Is that true? Is that how fiberglass works?
Yeah.
That sounds true to me.
Because it's solid, right? Any kind of fracture like this creates a point of stress that can be, whatever.
Yeah.
It also makes
can explode in your hand, hypothetically.
Yeah. It's all out now. I don't feel any pain. But
good.
Like,
did you use a tape? You could duct tape on it.
And I did that. So Lillian got one in her hand, and she was like, "Ow, it hurts." And I was like, "Go get duct tape." And the whole family was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Trust me." No, and I put on the duct tape. I put it on, rubbed it on, and I ripped it off. I was like, "Do you still feel it?" And she was like, "No." I was like,
"It's
I know,
move, man.
You're
welcome."
I know. So it also, when you're assembling it, because it's tapered just a little bit, it goes into the other piece nicely.
Oh, better. Yeah.
It doesn't get caught. So just put the whole thing together, right? Assembled out of the box, fits perfectly, exact same, all this great stuff. And we assembled the tent, and the kids got to stay in the tent for the afternoon and experience that stuff. But just like from beginning to end, it was one of the more like, I thought that there'd be a lot more back and forth from Tentpole Technologies, but blissfully there was not, because of they want to know they have to know the diameter, the total length, and the material, and then they just make it for you, right? There's no, It's so nice. It was so nice, and I was reading on their website, so the poles are fantastic. I think these are going to last a lifetime, and I'm kind of wondering if I want to get the rainfly, because it has special rainfly poles that extend it out a little bit. I want to go get those replaced, just to make everything just like primo.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I also found that they will, if you have a custom project, and I don't know what this means in the tent world, but if you have a custom tent, they will help you make poles for it, and I love that. I love this so much.
That's pretty sweet. Their website doesn't look too bad.
No, it doesn't. But
I'm
when
on it right
you
now.
are
I pulled
crawling
it up
across the website looking for tent pole replacements, like
that's fair. It's kind of
it's a little whatever. But anyway, I can't. I have to endorse them like full throated and hearted here because it was great. It was a wonderful experience, and the polls are fantastic, and we're looking forward to using them soon. So
there we go. I got on here mostly to see like what other poll options are there other than aluminum and fiberglass. Turns out carbon. I should have seen that one coming.
Carbon fiber.
Should have seen.
Yeah,
carbon coming, and I don't know what this other one is. This cyclone
max polls
thing.
No idea.
Yeah, extreme weather. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that means. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what is this? What?
I don't know.
What is a cyclone max pole?
They'll also
like
sell you.
Oh, cyclone and cyclone max. What is it? What?
What's the max?
I don't know.
They'll also do repairs instead of just replacements, but they'll do parts. So if you have like parts of a pole that you need,
this has got like 90-degree anchor things, like tip things. What is this material? I don't understand what this means. Oh, this unique process provides. It's a multi-directional construction. Unique process provides similar characteristics as carbon fiber, same weight as aluminum, and 80% more durable in wind and flex testing.
Oh.
Keeping the material at a lower cost.
Oh.
There we go.
I
would have thought aluminum was heavier, though.
No, aluminum is the lightest ones out of all these. Yes.
Aluminum is lighter than carbon?
Yeah. It's not as dense. In order to make it flex and stuff.
That's true, yeah. But man, I seem to remember my aluminum tent poles back in the day. They were unwieldy beasts and very heavy. Well, interesting. There you go.
Double plus good on this. I enjoyed it a lot. So it was also just I don't know. It was neat and fun. So yep.
Oh, very good. Very good. I don't know if I've ranted about this before or not, but I was thinking about this the other day because we had talked about Zen and the art of dishwashing, right?
Yes.
Right. How it's a single focused task. It's kind of like a meditative, and it's just like you and the dish, right? However, I do have a slight amendment to this philosophy as it stands currently. Something that is not Zen in dishwashing is trying to wash dishes in someone else's house. Right?
Oh.
Because like we were at Susan's mom's house, right? And we had dinner, so I was just gonna go wash some stuff and like the pan, whatever. And like I was very confused because there was an extreme lack of dishwashing material, right? And I was just like, what in the world? Like, how? Right? Because, like, in your own dish zone, like, you have a system and you have all of the pieces to make that system work, right? But I was thinking about this. I feel like dishwashing, highly individual task, right? Like, extremely individual task. And so, not everybody has the same stuff that you have. And like there is, obviously some like very clear substitutions like, oh, instead of this, they have this, and that makes sense, right? But like some people like Susan's mom, like don't even have a thing. I'm like, what is going on?
Well, or you
How
reach
do
for
you do this.
This also happens when you like reach for like you said, like the particular kind of scrubber, or like, oh, this dish towel isn't working, this washcloth isn't working. Let me go get the whatever brush. Oh, that's not here. I don't have it. And then you find yourself just like making do a lot of the time.
Yeah,
or
it's kind of like trying to use somebody else's work bin.
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't really make sense to you, right? Because like in our sink, we have like an old dish scrubber, right? This is to be used just for like random things, right? It's just like a brush. It's one of those like handheld brush things. It's like you hold it in your palm and the bristles are in the bottom and you just scrub with it. It's great, right?
Of course.
So we have like an old thing like that. We have the old like scraper thing, right? From the like, those little scraper deals, right? We have a little plasticky scraper thing to like scrape pans and stuff. We have like a dish rag. And then we have like this thing that Susan got at some point, and it's a little like, it almost looks like a little ramekin. And then there's a brush that sits in it, and that's where you put the dish soap. So you can like soap the brush and then like hammer down on the stuff, washing it that way. Right? It's very handy. It's very
I like this. Yeah.
And so like, and then we have like a steel scrubby thing for like pots, and all that stuff. But like a really big scrubby thing. Like Susan's mom had like a dish, like a washcloth. That was it. And I was like, "What? How do you do this when you wash your dishes?" She goes, "Oh, we don't. We just soak it." It's like, for how long?
Oh no!
Right? Like how long? He was like, "Oh, we soak it in this thing." They do the old thing where you just like, they have like the dish insert deal, and they're just like, "Oh, we just put a bunch of hot water in this. We just put everything in there, and then we just kind of like wipe it off, and then like either put it in the dishwasher or just like scrub it with this, and we'd call it done." Like, no, that's incorrect. I don't.
I don't. I'll do the. Just the soaking method. I just don't have that kind of patience, right? Like
No.
I'll do it, but
what I'll do is I won't soak the whole dish. What I'll do is if I have a pan, I'll just like put water in the pan.
Yes.
And I'll just that, right? I'm not soaking everything else. That's ridiculous. I just like lightly run some water on it and then hit it with the old brush. Like knock off the big stuff and throw it, like plates and stuff. You just knock off stuff and you put it in the dishwasher, right? Just kind of like,
yeah, absolutely.
It gets stuck. You don't want stuff stuck on there. It's gross. But it was very unzen, right? Being in someone else's environment, trying to do this task was not
so
particularly relaxing.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I just thought it was funny. I was like, we have a slight amendment to this particular thing. The other thing that was very annoying this week, right? Another rant continued, right? Part 2. I want to talk briefly about everyone's least favorite thing, right? I don't know who wants this. I don't know who it's for. I don't know who enjoys it. But I'm talking about internet recipes, right? The ones that are like a blog form, and it's like, here's 80 pages, right? Here's a novella just talking about my personal life experience and things that I do to make this dish. And then the recipe is like buried somewhere at the bottom, right? Again, I don't know who wants this, right? Also, because they're always on like the jankiest websites that have like this like 16 ads that are open at the same time. And when you're trying to look at the recipe on your phone, right, there's like a banner ad and then like some like floating stupid video ad and then some like halfway page, like the ad that like pops halfway down. You have to like it's awful. It's the most idiotic thing in the world. It's so poorly designed. And again, I feel like it was not designed for a mobile experience, which in 2025 is the dumbest thing that you can possibly do. Like, why would you not design something to be viewed mobily? Right? Like, if you were only expecting your customers to be looking at a website on a desktop computer in 2025, what is the matter with you?
It's not good.
What is what is this garbage, right? And I know these people that are designing this are younger than me, right? I know this to be true. So
you
what?
hope.
Why? Why? What are you doing?
Well,
why do you hate your customers? That's what I want to know. What? You're losers and you hate your customers, and I despise you. Okay. But anyway, that's not the whole rant. That's a side note. The problem with this particular one that we were trying to use this week, right? When I say we, I mean mostly Susan, but the recipe part at the bottom, right? Yeah. And the soliloquy at the top describing in great detail their feelings that they have whilst they bake this thing.
Yes.
Were not the same procedure. They were different. So somebody wrote this big, long story about how they bake with their grandma or some garbage. And then the directions, when they gave it to you in direction form, it didn't match. Right? It said like, the recipe was like roast chicken stuff, right? But it's supposed to be like, in the bottom thing, it was very clearly pan roasted chicken, right? Where you brown it, you do the stuff, you put the other things in there, you cover it, you let it sit on the stove for however long till it's done, right? In the body of this essay that they were writing, their 17-page essay for their English class, they indicated that it was to be put in the oven at some point. But nowhere in the directions did it say anything about oven temperature.
Oh no.
Oven time.
Oh no.
Right?
That's
this
bad.
Is actually the worst written recipe I've ever seen in my life. Like it tasted fine. It tasted good, but it was whatever. But like the amount of words used to describe how to make what amounts to pan roasted Mediterranean chicken stuff, not necessary. Right? It's so unnecessary. And then to not even have the continuity to be like, yes, I'm going to give you this big, long, overly dramatic retelling about my mood one spring day that I had while I was cooking the blah, 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 and then not even give the directions the same as that is the dumbest thing.
That's real bad.
And it's real bad. Right? And proof that editors are important. Right? This is the main crux of the story I just discovered right now. Editing and editors, having other people edit your stuff, important. Right?
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah.
Okay? Especially things like that. Like, I don't know what's going on here. But that was awful.
Well, people flocked to. I too have seen this, and it is one of the more frustrating things on the face of the planet. And I know exactly why they do it. At least I think this is it. Page time on page bounce rate.
Yeah, you sell more ads that way.
Right, you sell more ads, right? Yeah. Because they spend longer time looking at it and scrolling, and it just that's all
exactly.
And it's been ruined, and the page layout is then ruined because a lot of times people design a website and they add a block for ads, and then they don't have control over what ads show up there.
Yeah,
it's just purely who bids the most to be put on that ad and who's managing it, and so that's where that distortion comes in. But as a creator of content, how gross to have something that maybe you did spend a lot of time. Maybe you did want to write about how your grandma used to handpick the cherry tomatoes that she used in her salad, like that and you want to tell that. And then you're going to put it up against and just throw up the whims and mercies of the internet to put stuff next to that. I don't understand this at all.
I don't care if you do that, but here's what I would suggest. Here's what I would require, right? At the very top of the page, you need an immediate hyperlink thing.
Jump to
recipe.
Yes.
Bam.
Yes.
So I can skip your pages and pages and pages of dialogue. Okay. That's cool, right? But like, if I'm like, maybe you read it the first time, neat. And then now you need the thing because you're in the middle of making it and you need the recipe pulled up, right? I don't have like, while you're cooking chicken, you can't be like scrolling through like this memory lane flashback nonsense. Okay. You need the recipe. So you need a jump to recipe button.
Yes.
Right. I think if we're going to do this, we should require a jump to recipe button that works, not a fake one. Right. I know what you're going to do. You're going to put one on there and be like, oh, that's an ad. Losers. No.
Psych. Psych.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jump to recipe. I feel like that's mandatory. It should be mandatory.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, it is infuriating because I just want to see the recipe.
Yeah, I just want to see the thing. I just want to see how to do it. That's all I need. Or like I need to see the ingredients again. Right? Maybe you're making a list to go shopping. Like I need to see the ingredients. Scroll for a minute to get down to the bottom, right? No. Stop it. Blah.
Well, hopefully we can work on that. We'll develop our own.
Yeah.
We'll do
there you go.
Our own recipe.
The Oh Brother recipe page coming soon. I can cook exactly 3 things, so it'll be short.
Yes, hey, which is what people want anyway. They don't want to do the scroll. So
that's true. So no, I mean your choices will be short.
That's what I'm saying.
You can only pick 3 things.
It's focused. That's all it is.
Yes, there you go. Oh, the Oh Brother cookbook. Oh man, let's go. Oh Brother Cooks YouTube channel. What? Let's go. We can get shorts of Collin cooking things.
Okay.
Me burning stuff on the stove. Yeah, let's go.
This is something that I've actually thought about. The way my kitchen is set up, the pantry, we've got this in our kitchen. It's kind of long, but it's got a central island. It's narrow. It's like half the width. This will make sense to nobody else. It's half the width of Dad's Island. Okay. It's not meant for sitting at, but it's this long kind of like bar and you can walk all the way around it. Okay. Nice. But the pantry, our pantry is directly opposite of our sink. So you're washing dishes, right? You can walk around the little bar thing and you go into the pantry. That would be the perfect place to set a camera because you can set it back enough.
Yeah.
But then the sink, the counter, then right behind me is another little bit of a counter and the oven. I have thought about this.
You have thought about this, Julia. Let's go.
How much fun it would be to set up and just like and cook ridiculous stuff. Like today, I'm going to make the recipe on the back of the Toll House cookies. Right? Like this is really what I want to do with this channel.
I mean, that's the exact thing that you should do, right? Or like those ridiculous things, like those ridiculous days. You're like, I'm going to make this. What sandwich can I make out of these leftovers in my refrigerator?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And why does it need more pickles on it? Exactly.
Yeah. Today, I'm going to be putting together something from my refrigerator. But yeah, I just want to I think that'd be so much fun is to just
that'd be hilarious.
A show about following the directions on the backs of boxes.
Hey, you know what? You can test them out, see if they're good, right? And be like, oh, this would be, you know what this needs is this. Like, yeah. I think that's there. This has legs.
I mean, that next level of what could it be added? Like, we're getting to a little bit of America's Test Kitchen-esque here, right? And
hey, that's fine. But like, this is average American kitchen. That's how it works.
Average
like,
American
you make
kitchen.
It and be like, oh, bro, that would be really good if it had this.
Yeah, I don't have cumin. So what I do have, right?
Yeah, that's like. Have you ever? Okay, I need you to watch a Future Canoe video because this is kind of how he functions.
Yeah,
he'll be like he was doing something the other day. He was like, "Yeah, I don't have that." So anyway, he was just like making recipes that like other people like viral recipes, right? He just makes them, but he just does it like that, where he's like, "Yeah, I don't have an onion, so moving on," and then he just. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
It's very fantastic. My favorite one he was made, I don't remember what it was, but they've like needed 3 spices. And he was like, something in oregano. And he only had oregano. So the way that he edited it was like, they were like, oh, you got to put in the basil. He was like, oregano.
Oh,
And they were like, and then the time, and he was like, oregano?
oregano.
And oregano. Oregano. Yes. Bam.
Da.
It was great. Best thing ever. So that'd be fun. But I would definitely watch you bake the stuff on it'd be great. Like, today, Betty Crocker's recipe.
Or even tonight, every now and then we'll get these coupons for like HelloFresh, like those delivery boxes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous, right? And I enjoy these very much. They had a little bit of variety, and it's kind of nice not to really think about it because it's like, oh, I pre-planned for the week, and it's just grab a bag out of the fridge, right? It's nice. Like putting together one of those, like it's nothing fancy. Like, I'm just following these directions anyway. That's
good. The best thing about that, we did a trial of one of those things one time, right? Like you can also they come with like a recipe card. So you can just totally keep the card too.
I know.
So you be like, I could just make this now. Like
yes. Now sometimes they do send weird things. Like
that's true.
Today we had like there's like a sweet chili sauce. I'm like, this is definitely processed from somewhere. I would have to find this in my town. I don't think
I have some Maploy Thai sweet chili sauce in my fridge. There you go. Bang. You nail it. You get it from the Asian grocery store and it's the bomb. You could put it on literally everything and it's great.
Yes.
Just it doesn't matter. Like, this needs a little something. Maybe it's this. Bam.
No. So we'll see. Let me.
All right, we'll workshop that one. That'd be hilarious.
Though. Yeah. Yes. Yes. No.
It's shaky phone video of me cutting onions badly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Yep. We'll zoom in by stepping forward. Right?
Yes.
Excellent.
Perfect. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So I do have for you, of course, the sea shanty of the week.
Oh, yes.
Right? If you're ready for that.
I am. Dive right in.
I feel like, right? God, now, before we start this, I do want to say, listeners, yes, I am aware of the difference between a sea shanty and a sea song. All right. But for the purposes of this ongoing segment, I feel that I'm going to just combine them all together. And songs to be sung at sea, colloquially known as sea shanties in 2025, right? So that's what it is. However, just so you know, a sea shanty, it's like a work song, right? Repetitive, cadency, right? It's for like hauling lines, stuff like that, right? A sea song, songs that sailors sing like after dinner time to like for funsies, right?
Okay.
That's kind of the difference, right? But today, I do, of course, have a official sea shanty, right? Sort of, I feel like in honor of the late captain from the story, right? You know, in his honor, I feel like the best one we could do this week is Drunken Sailor.
It's a good
right. This is very important. Just briefly, interestingly, this is a real song, right? We talked last week. The Yo Ho Ho and a Bottle of Rum is a song that Robert Louis Stevenson wrote, and then it has become like a sea song. But this is an official song. Its earliest recorded singing is somewhere in the 1830s. Right. So it was used on ships. Right. It does kind of share a similar tune to like an Irish folk song, right? So it's probably sung on English ships, I would imagine, you know, because they take everything from the Irish. And
maybe.
It's fine. And but the earliest kind of somewhere in the 1830s is its first recorded like usage. So that means it's probably older than that, right? So it was first recorded like that. It was a thing in the early 1830s. So it's almost certainly older than that. But that is the classic Drunken Sailor, right? And all the refrains kind of answer the question, right? What do you do? And they're either again, this is one that it's like 20 bazillion verses to this song, so there's not like an official version, right? It's just like whatever. But they all have to do with either what are you going to do with him to wake him up to get him to work, or what shall his punishment be for being too drunken at this time, right? That is the two options for the verses for the song, right? With the chorus, the refrain is always the same, and then there's the way hey and up she rises part, which is probably the hauling bit, right? Because that's the part that they would all repeat together, I bet. And so that's when they would haul lines and do stuff that you do on a ship. So, bang! That is this week's Sea Shanty.
Shanty.
The classic.
Classic.
For some reason, I have known this song since I was a youth. I don't really know why. I don't know where I heard this.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember of the version that's in my head. Is there a rock? Is there a? Is it? Did Dropkick Murphys didn't do a version of this? Did they?
Not that I'm aware of, but that doesn't. No, they did the Sailing Up to Boston song.
Yeah, I know they did that one.
Right, but I don't know. There's a whole bunch of versions of this, but I don't know about that, and I don't know why I would know this, but I have known about this song for absolute ages. So I don't know if it was in like a movie or like a TV show or what at some point, but this is a song that I have known about for a very long time, like in popular culture. So it's weird that like a song from the 1830s is still like prolific enough that I have known about it and have sung it before.
Yeah.
Like before the great sea shanty revival of the 2020s, obviously. But which I think is odd. And I've been kind of racking my brain trying to figure out where it could come from, but the Wikipedia page for this song has no useful information in that regard. So
I don't know. I'm going to send you over a version that I just found that is in my head as the one that I hear whenever I think of this song. I don't know why. I don't know where. I don't know where I would have heard this one at all. But the version from the Blackguards is the one that is in my head. I don't know if you can listen.
That does sound
right. I've
heard this. Yeah, hold on. I don't want to play it in the speaker, but
you're fine. We are listening.
Yes, I have heard this before.
Now,
maybe somebody else covered this too, but
yeah, I don't think this is obviously the first version, right, that I ever heard.
No,
but this is definitely, for some reason, quintessential in my head, especially whenever like the break where it's just the drum kicking when he's singing. I don't know why that this is it. In my head.
That does sound familiar.
I know, but this band is still going. They're touring. See them in Little Rock coming up.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, the Hibernia Irish Tavern in Little Rock.
Up. Let's go.
What is this? Okay, let's go.
Nice.
I can get a Team Blag shirt. Okay.
What is there a?
That's favorite part. Collin and Brandon Google the internet.
Googling things. I think I've heard of the Blaggers.
Nope, it's probably now. Sorry. Now.
That does sound familiar.
It does.
So, but why?
Anyway, all this.
It does sound like a thing that my friend would have. So like,
yeah. Anyway, yeah. I like you. I don't know where I would have come across this song, but it's a good one.
Indeed. Well, anyway, that leads us to our next chapter.
It does.
4? Yes, 4. Counting. Roman numerals is hard sometimes. So I had to, once again, I have neglected the 2 bookmark strat. So maybe one day I'll figure this out. I'll look around for a second scrap of paper to put in my book here.
If only there was.
If only there was more scraps of paper around me. Oh wait, actually, just as a side note, I don't really know where I got these, but I have some like random Toy Story 4 stickers that somebody got from McDonald's, and that's what I've been using as bookmarks. So like, I just
this is fantastic.
They're not like they're still on the backing, right? And I just have a pile of them, and that's what I use for bookmark. Since again, I read like 4 books at a time sometimes. That's what I have in here currently, just as a side note. So it's either that or some random post-it note. So boom, there you go.
That's amazing.
Anyway, chapter 4, Sea Chest. Right. So our intrepid captain has just expired after being visited from the blind beggar. Right. And so Jim and his mom are freaking out. Obs, right? As you do when a random sea captain just dies in the middle of your inn. A small bit of freaking out is important, right? So they're like, well, dang it, what do we do now?
Well, and immediately, obviously, their life has been kind of falling apart. Right?
Yes.
And immediately the thought turns to, well, we're owed money from him, right?
Yeah.
So how do we collect on all of this then, right? Like
that's true.
That does become a plot point, obviously, move forward over the next, but like this is a thought of like, well,
yeah,
we got to get money.
But as they also feel that they are in great peril, they run to get some help, right? First, here's what they do, right? And so they run down the road. They go kind of the opposite direction that the blind dude went, which is good planning. Good job, Jim. Good job on that one. And so they ran out, and it's a frosty, foggy evening? Question mark? Morning? I don't really know.
I'm a little lost too. It must be in the morning. No, it had to be the same day, right?
Yeah.
It's late.
So it's kind of like afternoon. It's afternoon,
yes.
Right? It's afternoon. So it's frosty and foggy, right? Because it's only 6, and they said they'd be back later at 10. Anyway, so they run, right? They run down the road to like a neighboring establishment thing, right? To like a town, the little town, right? It's a couple hundred yards away. The inn is kind of like outside on the road, right? But so they run to they call it a hamlet, right? So they run in there, and they're like, "We need help," blah blah blah, and no one says, right? And we get a bit of a insight as to why here, because Jim does say the name of Captain Flint, though it was strange to me, was well enough known to some there and carried a great weight of terror, right? Mm-hmm. So Jim doesn't really know what's going on, but some of the other people are like, they know enough to be like, yeah, no, we don't want to get involved in that, right? So nobody is gonna go back with them, right? And I did like the right where the next little bit where he says they say that cowardice is infectious, but then argument is, on the other hand, a great emboldener. And so when each had his say, my mother made them a speech, right? She basically said, fine, if none of you would dare to be, to help us, blah, blah, we're going to go without you. No thanks to you, big, hulking, chicken-hearted men.
This was excellent. This was most excellent.
And they leave, right? They just leave. Now there's one person who like says he will go get like official help. Right. He like rides off to go look for other help somewhere else, but like he doesn't go with them. So that's good. Thanks a lot, guys. What the heck?
Yep, they run off and say, "We'll get you help eventually. Right, we'll be on their way."
Yeah. Jerks, whatever. Yeah. So they run back.
They gave him a gun, right? They said, "Here's a gun."
Oh, yeah.
And like, there's a horse here in case you need to run away quickly.
Yeah. Which didn't come into play at all later. So that was an odd thing to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So they go back. Right. And then this is the part where you're talking about where mom is all of a sudden like, yo, we just need to get the money that's ours and then we can scarp her. Right. And so they look at they check him, right? They're looking for the key, right? It turns out it's like tied around his neck. Right. And so they were doing this stuff and they checked all his pockets and they're like, we don't have this.
And the scene has been set too because there's a full moon and fog is rolling in, right? So it's also extra super creepy that they're doing this and they're around him.
Yeah, but it has to be, they say it's like 6 o'clock. So this has to be like winter.
Yeah.
Because England, southern coast of England, winter, getting dark at, being dark at 6 o'clock, this makes perfect sense. So like, that makes, because here in Missouri, it gets dark at like 6 o'clock in the wintertime. So that's fine. Because they mention that because they look at the spot. They like, what the heck is this anyway? And on the other side, there is some writing and it says, you have till 10 tonight.
10.
And,
yes.
And so they're like, oh, it's not even 6, right? Yeah,
we're fine.
Turns out they were unfine. Yes. So they grab the key, they run upstairs and they open the chest. And they're both like, what the heck is all this stuff? I enjoyed this part because they open it and they're just kind of like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, it says immediately on top, right? A suit of very good clothes, carefully brushed and folded. They had never been worn, my mother said. Yeah. Right.
And then under that, the miscellaneous began.
Yes.
A quadrant, a tin of, I don't know what this is.
Cannikin?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Tobacco, 2 braces of very handsome pistols. That means 4 pistols, right? Because a brace is 2.
Brace is 2.
So if there's 2 braces, there's 4.
4.
Boom. Some silver, an old Spanish watch, and some other random stuff. The trinkets. There's a compass. And then they're like really confused by there's just like seashells.
And
they're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Why? Right. Why? I have often wondered since why he should have carried about these shells with him in his wandering, guilty, and hunted life. Which, to be fair, good question. Another point, Jim, it's like they're heavy or anything. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have them in the box, I guess. So,
no.
Right. But at the very bottom, they find what they're looking for, right? There is a satchel of money and then just some like papers.
It says a bundle. Yeah, a bundle tied in oilcloth. Looking like papers.
So Jim grabs that and his mom is like very determined. She's like, I'll show them I'm an honest woman. I have my dues and not a farthing more. And she takes out the money and starts to try to count it. But there's a problem.
Big problem.
Big problem is there's like all kinds of random coins in here, right? From all kinds of different countries, right? They describe it as doubloons and louis and guineas and pieces of 8. And I know not what besides, all shaken randomly together. And so she didn't know. She was very determined to only take what she was owed. But she did not know how much these coins were worth.
Yes.
And so she was trying to sort through them to find English ones, but there weren't very many English ones in there.
No.
So she was having a rough time of it.
So she landed on what? Getting guineas, right?
Yeah.
They
were the scarcest, and it's with these that my mother only. Yeah, it was with these only that my mother knew how to make her account. Right. So she was being very stubborn, and this I don't. It's not supposed to be this way, I don't think. But this scene to me is very humorous, right? Where they're like, "We gotta hurry, we gotta hurry." She's like, "No, wait."
Tink, tink, shuka, shuka. Yeah.
The juxtaposition of like Jim is clearly wanting to hurry, and she's like, "No, we're gonna be fair and we're gonna be honest. We're gonna be the opposite of these dirty pirates." Blah blah blah. But also, there's this like ticking clock that they're going against, and to me, at least, this was a very just humorous interaction, right? Of like, I thought it was kind of funny. I chuckled a bit.
Well, not just a ticking clock, but also a tapping.
Oh, Kane. Nice. Good transition. I like that. Right. And I do hear it. He comes and he like, the blind man comes back and he like jiggles the door handle. And Jim is like, oh, well, he knows the door's locked. So he knows we're here. So we really need to run away now.
Yep. We know. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what they do, right? They escape, but they don't really make it very far because they like see or hear the people running down the road. So they basically like run down the road a little bit and dive under a bridge, right? They hide under this bridge. But Jim's mother is so distraught now that she just sort of faints, you know, because she's a woman in the late early 1800s. So obviously she's just going to faint randomly. That's, you know, that's what women do in the 1800s.
Just can't. Hashtag
just,
can't.
Yeah. It's just a thing that happens. And like, so he like drags her under the bridge a little bit, which is very weird to me. This like strange juxtaposition of how we treat Jim's mom in this chapter. Because like, number one, we don't have a name for Jim's mom. Right. I know that she's about to exit the story for the rest of it for right now, but we never get a name for her, which is odd. And then like the fact that she was quite bold in the beginning of the chapter, right? Yelling at the men, saying, if you can't do this, then we're going to blah, blah, blah. And here she just faints randomly when they're in the ditch. Which is odd, right? Like,
yes,
it's a very odd. Like, what is going on here?
But also for the story, a bit convenient to write out for the moment a character to move, keep to for the plot.
I mean, yeah, that's true too. Like, this is basically just a plot device, but it's a really weird plot device for just be like, nope. Anyway, mom fainted. Bye now. Like, what? Come on, Robert. What are you doing? Right?
Yeah, and that's where we end with the end of chapter 4. Right, them in the ditch.
Yeah,
wondering what's going on and who's running towards them.
Yes. So yeah, chapter 5 starts off. They just like he's like peeking out, and we have this scene of the blind guy is here with several other people, right? 4 to 5 other knaves, right? Like here to ransack and look, right? And so he is a bit paused, concerned that the door is now opened. Because like 5 minutes ago it was closed, and he's like, dang it. I know what that means. Uh-oh. Well, we better look anyway. So they all run in there and they start ransacking the place, right? They go upstairs and they hear like crashing and weird noises, and they do make it upstairs, and the guy throws open the window, and he's like, "No, they've opened the chest. There's nothing here." It's like, he's very mad now.
Oh, right. And he said, yeah, Bill's been overhauled ready. Nothing left. And then, yeah, this is where the blind man says, it's these people of the inn. It's that boy. I wish I had put his eyes out, cried the blind man. Pew, right?
Yeah.
Like, uh-oh. This is a real bad dude that we're in with.
Yes. And so they're just kind of sitting there, right? And Jim hears a noise, and like earlier he thought it was like the people coming, but he like realizes this must be some sort of like lookout, right? Because it's like a whistling kind of noise. And he's like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah.
So there's somebody over like on the hill, right? A signal to warn them of approaching danger, right? They keep referring to this person named Dirk, who I think is up on the hill, right? And so they're, the other guys are like, "No, we gotta go. We can't be here." They're signaling someone's coming, and Pew is like, the blind guy is like, "Oh, forget that. We gotta find the thing. They can't have gone far. We gotta look." And then, so everyone's looking, but like, it's implied through here that while the blind man is like yelling at them to look and be doing all this stuff, they're just kind of like
half-heartedly.
Yeah, they're
in the
not
old college
really,
try here.
Yeah, they're mostly having one eye on an escape route.
Yes,
and they're just like, "Oh yeah," they're like rustling some stuff around.
Definitely like, looking.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking really hard over here. Right. And then but turns out the warning was important because Jim can all of a sudden hear the galloping of horses coming, right? And there is a pistol shot, which he infers to be like the last signal, like imminent danger, bang, run away. To which we get another, again, kind of darkly humorous juxtaposition here, is that
with Pew.
Now, with Pew, right? Now all of the other pirates, Scarper, bang,
they're
run.
gone. Yeah.
They're gone immediately. And he obviously can't flee the scene with a quickness because he's blind. And so he's, when like 2 seconds ago he was cursing them and yelling them and ordering them about and making himself in charge of the situation. Now he's like, "Johnny, Black Dog, Dirk, you won't leave old Pew, mates, not old Pew."
As he's running around and stumbling in the ditch.
He's trying to run away, which he like stumbles in front of a horse and is just trampled.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That
would no.
Okay. Yep. Fell on his side and moved no more. I know what that means. That's not he moved no more for the scene. That's
yeah. It's the exunt Pew here. Boom. Done.
Yes.
So they're like, "Oh, okay. So these are like some, I guess, soldiery dudes, right? Like who were found by like a patrol that's just out and about."
Yes.
The other guy from the inn that they went to at first in the hamlet, he was running for help and he ran into them. And so he told them what was going on and he brought him back here. So that guy helped, right? There you go.
Good job.
And so they're like, "Oh, well, this part is weird now, right? This feels a bit odd." But he's like, "Well," Jim's like, "Yeah, I think they were looking for this." And the person in charge is like, "Well, I should like it to be put to safety." And he's like, "Yeah, sure. I'll take that, I guess." And Jim goes, "Actually, I think I was thinking about giving it to the doctor, right? Dr. Livesey? I don't know really how to say his name. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's a much better idea. Why don't you take it to him instead?
Yes.
Like, he doesn't want anything to do with this.
Very quick to defer away and say, fantastic. Good plan.
Yeah. Jim's like, actually, I thought maybe the doctor. And he's like, yeah, perfectly right. Yes. Yeah, because it's perfectly right. He interrupted very cheerfully. Perfectly right. A gentleman and a magistrate. Yes, yes. Higher person. Yes. Push it down the getaway. Yeah.
Yep. You don't get to his position by taking on much responsibility for long. So,
yeah. And so now, again, they're just like, all right, you go to the doctor's house and young Hawkins, and we'll do something with your mom. Bye. Like, the guy went, where? This is it. Mom's gone. Bye. See you later, Mom.
Yep.
Like,
it was great. So we had that time. Mom.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Right. But this chapter again is very like the next chapter, like 6. This is very much just like a how do we accelerate the plot chapter? Because it kind of is weird that they're just like, yes, bang. Like, it's odd to me, right? Like, I don't know, but like we get to the doctor's house and he is there with the Squire Trelawney, right? They're like hanging out.
The Squire.
Yeah, who was definitely correct casting to be played by Fozzie in the Muffins adaptation.
100%.
That was definitely correct. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well done.
So they're there talking and whatever. The Squire is a weird dude, and like, they're page just stuck. They're like, we brought the thing, and they're both just like very pleased. They're like, yes, hooray, good for you. And he wants to show him the thing, and he's like, do you know about this? Here's this thing I got. I just wanted to bring this to you because I didn't know what it was, and so I thought you might be able to tell me what's going on with this random pile of papers. Right. And again, the Squire is there just saying weird, encouraging things to Jim. It's very odd. I don't know.
Yeah, he's very lauding the behavior, both him and the dance. Was that right? He was saying how brave he was or how happy he was that Pew was no longer there, right? And like how that was all good, and he's
did a good job of running off the pirates and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But then we do get he's here for Mr. Backstory Man, right? Because the doctor is like, so have you heard of this Captain Flint? And of course, the Squire knows all about him, right? Heard of him, you say? He was the bloodthirstiest buccaneer that sailed. Blackbeard was a child to old Flint. The Spaniards, I like this part. The Spaniards were so prodigiously afraid of him that, I tell you, sir, I was sometimes proud that he was an Englishman. That is the most English sentence ever, right?
I know.
He was a terrible guy and he was so awful, but he did steal a lot from the Spanish, so
and they didn't
kind of like the old boy. So
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, oh, well, there's that. Yes, the Squire definitely plays the it's this bit of like again, this like heard of him, like, hey, do you know about this? Know about it.
Yeah, Mr. Exposition here, yeah. Like, I
think that happens 3 times in this interchange.
It really does, right? He's just like moving the story. And because like, he was like, oh, do you think he had any money? And the Squire's like, money? Cried the Squire. Have you not heard the stories? Right? What were these villains after but money? Why do they care? What do they care for but money? For what would they risk their rascal carcasses but for money?
I love that so much. Yep. And then he says, he says, sure, supposing, but the treasure, how much would the actual treasure be? Amount, sir. We just do it again.
It will amount to this if we have the clue you talked about. This is the part where we're like, here's Mr. Inciting Incident himself, right? Like, it will amount to this if we have the clue you talk about. I fit out a ship in Bristol Dock and take you and Hawkins here along, and I'll have that treasure treasure if I search a year, right?
Yes.
And this is also weird. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna bring Jim. And Jim's just like, bro, what? Like, what do you mean bring Jim? I'm trying to get rid of this thing and be left alone. And you're all like, oh, bring Jim. Jim's kind of like, whoa, what do you mean?
I too thought that was very weird. If they're like, and this child, welcome, child. Would you like to come with us on this really?
Yeah. He's like,
well, now wait a minute. Why are we bringing the kid?
Well, and we'll get back to that in a second. But they open it up and they try to figure it out, and they read it. And the first they open the book, right, and it appears to be like a very odd. Mr. Billy Bones is like account book.
It's his ledger, right?
Yeah, it's like an odd pirate ledger, and they kind of deduced that it's like, oh, this is how he kept track of the money that he was owed from certain things, right? And he made little notes of like to help him remember, like, oh, this is that time we did it here, and I should be owed this much money, and like that. So it's like his share of treasure stuff. That's what they're inferring this is, right? So it's his like own personal spin on a ledger, right? It takes them a minute to figure it out. So like, what in the world is this?
Yes. But the squire
probably knows what it would look like if I tried to make an accounting book, right? Like not really make any sense. It'd be like, what's going on with this?
Right. Lots of arrows drawing and things scratched.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and then they get the other one up. They're like, but okay, that's good. Now we'll open the other one, right? And now, said the squire, for the other. He's very excited to see what this other thing is, and it is the map.
Yes.
Right? Boom. The map. This is probably what the pirates were searching for.
I would say
imagine.
so.
I would say this is definitely it, because this is most definitely just a treasure map, not with one, but three, count them, 3 crosses of red ink.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
2 in the north and 1 in the southwest. Boom. So there's definitely 3, but there is one that says bulk of treasure here. I don't really get much more clear than that. And there's some like direction-y bearing stuff here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the squire is very pleased with this. He's very excited. It kind of is inferring that there's like one that's like, where did that part go? Oh yeah, it's talking about how there's like the 3 things are 3 different things. There's a little note here from I'm assuming JF is the Flint guy, but we don't know. I'm just assuming, right?
Yeah.
There's some bearings here, and it says, oh, the silver bars, the bar silver is in the north cache. And then it says the arms are easy found. So they must have buried some like guns or something, right? Perhaps that's what that means. And so the squire is very excited. And he says, I started once for Bristol in 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. We'll have the best ship and your choice of crew. Hawkins shall come as cabin boy. You'll make a great cabin boy, Hawkins. And you, Livesey, the doctor, and I, the admiral, will take Redruth, Joyce, and Hunter, who I'm assuming are his people. I don't know. And he's just like, let's go.
He's on fire for this. The squire has been waiting around for this his entire life.
It's really.
And it's a little like, whoa, okay, easy there.
Yeah. And also, we don't really have any indication that he is qualified for such a task. And it doesn't really seem like he's qualified to be admiral, right? Like he just,
I mean, when you say it like that,
yeah. He's like, Jim, you'll be a great cabin boy. And again, I'm just imagining Jim being like, what?
I was just bringing this here.
I just gave this to you guys. I want away from this thing, but like, we don't get any input from Jim here. Like, no, the Squire's just like running away. We have no idea about Jim's thoughts at all, which is kind of odd. But I'm just assuming that he's like, what?
Yes. But we do know that 2 chapters prior to this was when he was in the ditch. It opened with, my curiosity was greater than my fear.
That is true.
So he's a curious boy. He's ready for adventure.
Yeah, it's true. And then we leave with, I like this part. Oh, this was very funny to me. This end paragraph here where he's like, Trelawney, said the doctor, I'll go with you and I'll go to bail for it. And so will Jim. Again, which Jim is like, what? There's only one man I'm afraid of.
Oh, right.
And who's that? Cried the Squire. Name the dog, sir. You, replied the doctor, for you cannot hold your tongue.
Yes.
We are not the only men who know of this paper. So he's like, you need to shut up.
which makes sense, right? We all, Squire has been very forthcoming with lots of details and information about everything else up to this point. So,
but 2 people have already come and tried to kill Jim, right? And we can't have you going around blabbing around all this stuff because we know that there was at least like 5 pirates here a minute ago. And one, well, at least, and one of them's dead. But that means there's at least 5 or 6 more out there running about the countryside, hiding, trying to escape, blah, blah. So, like, people know about this. They know there are people that know we have this thing.
Yeah.
So you can't go, there are people, more importantly for Jim, really, there are people that know Jim has this thing. Jim. And they don't know what he did with it, but they know that he had it. And they're out there running around, which again, the lack of concern for Jim's well-being here is very hilarious because they're just like, but I mean, he does say Jim and I shall stick together in the meanwhile. So he's kind of like, I'll stay here and look after Jim. You can take your men and go do whatever it is you're going to do. But not one of us must breathe a word of what we found.
Nope.
And then we get this ominous line, I'll be as silent as the grave.
Yeah,
which I don't believe that.
Well, I'm also worrying, is this a bit foreshadowing? That was what I was worried about, actually, was, is the Squire not going to be around with us for very long?
Yeah, also fair. But like, we just don't, like, this is, like, I don't believe you because you've already, like you said, he exclaimed loudly his knowledge of Captain Flint thrice in this chapter. So he seems a bit excitable. And the proposition that he's going to be able to undertake this task stealthily. Not very, like, I don't have high hopes for that.
Not looking good here, people. Not looking good at all. So we will see. We will see what happens in there.
Yeah, we will see. That concludes part 1.
Part 1. Da da da.
Ta-da. There we go.
Going well. It's good.
Yes. There we go.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I like this part. Although it was a bit, this part does feel a bit like forced and rushed, right? But again, kind of makes sense. It feels like Stevenson's like, yeah, we got to find a way to get to the good bit. Anyway, which I don't necessarily mind. I don't need 700 pages of backstory about Jim's whole entire life and all that. I don't need all that. So it's fine. I don't like that in the book. So, but the end of part 1 felt a bit. Yeah.
We got we rushed through the plot there to get to this point.
Mostly just with the end with the Squire. He's like, and Jim shall come. Like, what? What do you mean Jim shall come?
Yes. Yes. And nobody questioned it.
Yeah, not even Jim. Like the fact that we don't get Jim's input here is interesting. So I'm going to be interested to see if we have input from Jim about this in the next chapters to see kind of what he thinks about this plan and what his feelings are. Like,
yeah, are we going to slow down
excited?
A little bit here? Yeah.
Does he have like much trepidation? Like, where are we in the goings on? I want to hear from Jim here, not just the squad.
Okay, well, you heard it, Mr. Stevenson. Let's hear from Jim.
Yes, there we go. We'll see.
Okay, nice. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, me too. It's good. It's really fun. It's really like quick to read and fun. So I've been liking it so far. And again, I really like his writing style. It's very easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it just kind of goes. So I like that. So if you're ready, I do have a haiku for you.
Yes.
Right. Once again, about a trip to the city park. Here we go. Bang.
Oh, nice.
The fallen linger. New life thrives in their shadow. Legacy endures.
Oh.
They're finally cleaning up all of the trees that were knocked down and all the crazy storms that we had.
Yeah.
And they've been planting new sapling trees.
That's cool.
Around.
I like that.
So they've been finally cutting up. I mean, there's a bunch of trees down. So they've been working on this, but a lot of them are now, a lot more of them are picked up. And so they've been planting new ones. So I thought that was nice. I was like, all right, here we go.
Look at this.
Here we go.
Alive.
Yes. So that's once again another haiku about trees. It's fine. Don't worry.
Pretty good one.
Might be my third one, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's important. It's okay. Okay.
I like it.
Right.
Okay.
I was excited about planting new trees. That's good news.
It's always good to see. I think about that a lot when we walk through our park. Our park is coming up on, 130 years old or something like that.
Yeah,
and obviously, like not all the trees, like most of the trees aren't original. Like, let's be very real, but like some of them are 80 years old, 90 years old, and so I think about that a lot as I'm walking through the park going, yeah, these are all kind of the same age. And so as these start coming down, this park is going to look really different for a long time. And it kind of makes me a little sad thinking about that, but they don't last forever. And they are actively coming in and planting things around the park and trying to bring in bigger trees and things like that. So it won't be like all like, homogenous
all
stand.
tiny saplings.
Right. They've been planting for a while, but at the same time, it's like you only have so much room for a park. You can't have every square inch covered with trees. So you have to wait for things to move on. But anyway, so it's a problem, but that's cool. I'm glad they were planting ones again. So
yes.
Nice to see.
Boom.
Very nice. Well, we will continue on with our endeavor here, and
3 more next week.
3 more. I think that's good. I think that's a good pace. We may have to do. I think soon we're gonna have to work on scheduling a double recording week to get caught up for
that's true. I'll text you the dates that we're actually gonna be gone.
Sure.
So also that.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. That sounds good. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.